This video is going to be about the program goals. There are 5 main objectives or goals of the program. First one, put the brakes on my violent behavior. Second, take responsibility for my violent behavior. Third, understand why I use violent behavior. 4, be able to listen to the other when faced with delicate subject or a conflict without resorting to violence. And finally, 5, identify my emotions, express myself, and deal with others in a non-violent way. We will go through all of these in more details in the coming slides. What do we mean by putting brakes to violent behavior? Well, we mean that we must recognize first that there are different types of violence. You'll probably go along and realize, oh, you consider that violence? Yeah, there might be some forms of verbal, psychological, or indirect violence that you wouldn't have seen, maybe that you've been yourself victim to over time and in your life. And the aim is to reduce using all violent behaviors, whether mild or severe, of course. The main tool to help you with this will, of course, be the timeout, but over time you will add a lot of other tools, building yourself a good toolbox, being able to face difficult situations with an array of means to deal with tension, deal with stress, deal with confrontation. The second goal is to take responsibility. It's never fun, it's never comfortable to admit that the choices we made, the behaviors we adopted, did hurt others, or weren't appropriate, or were completely mistaken at times. It's no fun feeling guilt, even maybe shame at times. But it's important to recognize because it's the only way through to change. No matter what others say or do, using violence is always a choice that is costly. It ends up meaning control on others, not on situation, and taking ownership of our choices to understand the impact they have on the people around us is definitely a key step in that process of changing our behaviors. To help us out through this process, understanding why we use violent behavior, why we've used it, why we've adopted it over time is important. Most of the time it's about satisfying our needs, but there are always other ways of satisfying needs than using or recurring to violence. Understanding the pattern we adopted and its impact, not only on others, but on ourselves, is central to reevaluating this pattern. And believe me, you'll understand that you didn't get this at birth. It developed over time. You might have chosen at times to reinforce some of these choices, but the cost, as we've seen, as we'll see, is important and definitely points us in the direction of reevaluating this. A major step is about being able to listen to others, even in the face of a conflict, of a confrontation, without resorting to violence. Listening is an action. It's not about being passive. It's adopting certain attitudes, developing proper techniques and skills to understand the other person's inner experience, to understand the context and the issues at stake over our own interest, over our own sensibilities. You become conscious of their needs, their expectation, and the possibilities of a situation where you can negotiate, exchange, discuss, understand, and then choose better ways of dealing with situations. It means focusing your attention on the emotional value of the person's and what it brings to your own life. Listening, you have nothing to prove. You don't need to make the other person accept or understand anything of your point of view. You just accept, okay, that's how that person sees, experience things. If I'm able to understand and to look and to listen to her, to look into her point of view, there's a good chance that this person will be able to look at my point of view, listen to my point of view and my concerns, and from this point of view, we could find ways of dealing properly with the needs of both of us and find solution to any problems arising. Finally, it's all about our emotional state and a way of expressing our needs, our concerns, our choices, but in a non-violent way. This objective is about allowing us to identify our emotion, expressing them, even in the face sometime of having to express anger, not only positive emotions, anger, anguish, anxiety, grief, everything is acceptable if it's conveyed properly, appropriately, with respect to the other. Violence ultimately is always an inappropriate way of communicating, and you must find alternatives to express yourself. Love and satisfying relationships spring from such attitudes. You probably have lost a lot resorting to violence up to now. You would lose much more if you go on that way. So this program is going to be about helping you find other ways. Welcome.